TikToker, like his name is like Tyler Jacobs. Tyler Jacobs? I think so. I could be wrong. Love Little Lady on the O down. Oh my god. But I didn't think I'd like relate as much as I do to her. Because like, guys, I think I'm getting like ghosted. Not ghosted, like phased out. Which is crazy. Okay. So like I've been talking to this guy for like about 2 months. Ooh, sorry. It's July 7th. For about like 2 months, becoming 3 months. And I finally was like, I feel like I want to meet you. So I text him, hey, let's like finally meet. He's like, do it. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's do this, and this. And then he was like talking to me crazy. And by talking, I mean, I do mean snapping. And he was like snapping me crazy. And then like, he just, not like that, he like just stopped snapping altogether. But he did like, he doesn't answer as quickly anymore. And now I'm thinking like, is he thinking that like I'm gonna flake on him? But like this action, these how he's doing, like how he's going about things right now, very much, very, very, very much giving. Why would I like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I be like, yeah, let's do this, and then like you not answer me practically the entire day except for something to keep our streak, and then nothing. You know what I mean? How am I supposed to want to meet you? I mean, I obviously I still want to meet him, but like, how am I supposed to continue to want to meet you if you're going to be like this? You know? Anyway, hey everyone. My name is Samantha Kaye. Welcome to, or back, but most likely to the pod that has 2 announcements at the end of this video, because one, this is going to be a double feature because I feel so bad because it took such a long hiatus. I did not mean to take like practically a month-long hiatus from the pod because the plan was to come back. And then I just kept getting distracted, and then I recorded, I kid you not, 3 episodes. 1 episode that I can't release anymore, and then 2 episodes that while I was editing, I was like, ooh, I'm being a little harsh. I'm being a little mean to others and myself. And I have to catch myself because, like, not that, like, I just don't want to, I don't want to come off more mean because I am, like, tragically, I do have a mean streak. I have a very mean streak, and I'm not proud of it. So when I can catch it, I try my best to avoid it. But I don't, yeah, it's just, anyway, so I'm gonna kind of consolidate everything I was talking about in the 2 episodes that I had to scrap, because it's getting scrapped for just like coherence. Like not only am I being mean, but I'm also being incoherent. And like, I just like, I can't have that out there. I can't expect people to listen to that. And then for the first one that essentially created this hiatus, I was literally out of my mind. Like, I was genuinely like out of it. Like, I was say like, you know how I try my best, like really try my best to not name names and be too specific, because at the end of the day, I'm still, like I said, I'm trying to find a job here. I'm trying to build, I'm building experience. I'm trying to build experience right now, but like the goal deep down is to get like a job. And if I am just like spewing things out on public like this, with little to no like substantial like proof of why I should be talking like that, I'm shooting myself in the foot. So I scrapped that first episode. If anything ever blows up, maybe I'll make it like a Patreon episode, but for now, lost in the vault. Yes, guys, yes. Call me Taylor Swift the way that I have a vault. Call me Taylor Swift the way that I have blonde hair and I have a vault. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys. Like I said, yes, today today's episode is going to be a double feature, and I'm going to have it out by the end of the week. So you can hold me accountable. So I'm not going to edit out any of my timely things. Today is the Monday after 4th of July. And this episode is going to be about this kind of journey I kind of went on recently. Because again, like a month has gone by. A lot has happened to me within like my exploration of self. And the fact that I have an unpaid internship right now. And it's not like it's like crazy like stumping me right now, but like now that I have a little just that tiny bit of experience now underneath my wing, I'm like another fire has been lit under me, and I'm like applying to more jobs now because I have like that one little thing that'll help me boost it essentially. And that's been really nice. I also decided, this is not one of the big announcements, but like I think I'm gonna keep myself to like 1 to 2 podcasts a month, because it's just gonna be easier for me to juggle with me trying to have like a life, and it's also gonna give me things to talk about in these episodes. Because if I'm trying to gun for like every single week, nothing is gonna happen in my life. Things are going not like super duper slow, but like things are not, nothing interesting is happening. So like, why am I gonna try to give you weekly consistent stuff if there's nothing going on? But like 2 times a month, I could muster something up from that. So that's that. But also because of how bad I feel about only having 1 episode out during my supposed comeback, I think I'm going to do 2 and then maybe 1 more before this month ends. Knock on wood, hopefully that happens. But yeah. So a journey I went on recently is, I'm going to start from the very beginning of that journey. And the journey was realizing that I kind of low-key am part of the problem that I am facing when it comes to getting into a relationship. Because if you are a single person right now, 2025, and you really are struggling, you know that it is so difficult to find somebody that you can trust and that you care about and that you are attracted to, and all that stuff that you can start getting into a relationship with. And this isn't like a oh, I realized that like my standards are too high thing, because that's something I realized a long time ago that I like literally laughed at myself for having, because I was like, all these things I'm like, this is my standard, this is my standard. And then I look at all the guys I've ever talked to, went on dates with, and like none of these men meet this insanely high standard that I have for myself. So why am I vetting like this when literally like like demon spawns are like literally like weaseling through these cracks? So like, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Like, what is going on? Like, why am I doing that to myself? But again, neither here nor there. My realization is that I am the problem in the sense that like like, you know how people say like, if he wanted to, he would. I don't like, if I wanted to, I don't. If I want to see somebody, I will take forever. Like the last guy I was talking to, yeah, sure, he was like the quickest I've ever seen somebody, but at the same time, it's like within the span of me matching with him and then going to see him that night, I literally, like quite genuinely, decided I was gonna go, then wasn't gonna go, like minimum 5 times within the span of like having matched with him for like 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I just kept going. Initially, I was like, no, I can't. I have to study. I have to do homework. I have to do this, that, and the third, which was not a lie, but we'll get into like that portion of it. I was thinking that. But then at the same time, I was like, I wasn't going to do it until way later in the night, because that's when like, I knew I was going to get that itch to like make me stay up all night. Because sometimes I have those. I should really get diagnosed with something, because sometimes we're not gonna get into that. That's too personal. But like, I knew I was gonna get that itch to do all that work later in the night, but I knew that like whatever, right? So I was like, no, I have homework, but like maybe like some other time because he was very close to where I was living at that point. And then I decided to go on a walk around my campus, and then I decided to call up my friends, and then we were talking, and it's like, guys, should I go see him? Because I just like kept thinking about like what is keeping me from doing it. Like I'm back I'm back in the area earlier than most of the people that I'm friends with. So like there really isn't anything like there's no like I'm not like going to hang out with anybody else. Like no matter what, the work is going to get done. So like why am I forcing this back? And then like I was talking to my friends about that, like, yeah, just do it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I will. And then I was like, never mind. And then like I just kept doing that back and forth until eventually I was just like, fine, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, sure, like this, that, and the third. Like, okay. And he's like, okay, but like, can you get I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden I was walking over. And then again, that was like the quickest I've ever like met up with somebody from a dating app. And it still took like a whole song and dance to convince me to go over there. And after all is said and done, I still don't regret having done that. And I can say that about every single date or like thing I've been on with somebody. I can say that like despite what went down, like I'm glad I went. I keep saying that, but then it takes me so long to see somebody. Like thus like whatever just happened in the intro to this video where I was talking about like how I'm like low key feeling like I'm getting phased out even though I finally was like let's meet up and I mean it. But like like what am I supposed to do? And then like what the thing I'm supposed to do is realize that that is a problem within me that I'm dealing with, that I'm not like a flaker, but I really ride with excuses. And I wouldn't say I make up excuses because it's not like I like made them up and they're not real or that like I had to think of excuses. These excuses existed already and were things that like were in motion already. There it always is. It's not something I'm like, well, technically I have to start cleaning my room, so I have to say I have chores. Like it's not something like that. Like it genuinely is like I have these excuses, but then I let these excuses like control me and keep me from actually doing things, and that's a huge issue that I have run into because I will genuinely just like take forever to do it. And it almost always has to do with relationships and getting to know somebody. And that's part of my issue cuz like I want to meet people. I want to do this. I want to do that, but then I just don't do it. I don't do any of it. And when I initially started thinking about this and then I said it in the original version of this episode, I was talking about how like I really am the problem, this, that, and the third. And then the next day I went to go hang out with my friend. And as I was talking about this issue that I had, she made me realize that I was being a little too harsh on myself because she was like, yeah, but like, like it's not like you're being flaky. It's just like you have a little nerve. You have a little nervousness. It's like like okay, like it's not like you're hurting anybody. Like it may be an inconvenience for them, but like who cares? Like you're going at your own speed. Which I was like, yeah. But she was like, but then at the same time, she countered that statement. Not a complete counter, but she also like validated this like concern in my head as a concern that I rightfully noticed because she was like, yeah, but I also do think that like obviously I'm paraphrasing her words, but like she was like, yeah, but like at the same time like you kind of have a point there, like you should probably like start like actively doing this because you kind of do this thing. You kind you kind of do this thing, like, if you like expose yourself to this more, like exposure therapy, like maybe you won't like fall in love with these men as quickly as you do. And she was like, yeah, not like that you do, but you do. And I'm like, no, like, thank you so much. I know you're listening. Thank you so much for calling me out like that, because it's like, it's one of those things where like you need to hear. And I am like the worst when it comes to that, because I work in such a weird way, because like I will like want and need everybody's input on something, and then like this same friend, because she's the goat, will always be like, yeah, but like it doesn't really matter what I say, does it? Because like you're just gonna end up doing the way you want to do. And I'm like, yeah, but I still want to hear what you think. But like it was just another one of those things where it's like I'm gonna end up doing whatever I want to do, but it's something that I needed to hear. You know what I mean? So like whether I take that advice now or later, like I had to hear it eventually, and it was better now than never or later. And I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah. So like I'm not gonna be as harsh to myself about that, about like doing that, because like sometimes if I try to overcorrect it, I'm going to just ignore my intuition. What my issue is that I can't tell my nerves from my intuition. So it's really giving me a really bad coin toss. Like instead of a 50-50, it's like a 60-40. And the 60 is not on the good side. So I feel as if it's something I'm going to work on, because it's something that I need to work on in order for me to be content with it. And that kind of leads me into the idea of like having to work on yourself, because deep down everybody knows that everybody has to work on themselves eventually and at some point. And sorry, like that bump that keeps showing up, not a fan of her. So maybe I should like push her to the back of the head. I'll take it. So I I fall into this trap, and I feel like a lot of people do as well when they're like really down on their luck. And it's this idea of like, why do I have to work on myself to get what I want when other people just like get it? And it's usually applied in relationships. And again, like I fall into this trap as much as anybody else. And I feel like people like love to be like, yeah, well, like people who like get into these, like something is protecting you in the universe. Sorry, the the cord got stuck in my leg. But like the universe is protecting you from this, like whatever. And they're like, yeah, but like it doesn't matter. Like I want this. I'm like, yes, and I get that. Trust me, I get that. And again, when giving this advice to myself, it's all the same. It's like, why me? Why me? But I think there's like a huge thing that you have to remember, that like you have to take yourself out of the center of the universe sometimes, because as people, we have this tendency to make everything about us. And this is the part of one of the podcasts I had to scrap, where I started to be a little mean because my my tone was a little bit too accusatory. But this isn't like something where it's like it's your fault that you think like this, that the world is centered around you. It's easy to believe that the world is centered around you when you only live in your life. You can try your best to be empathetic, and some people are way more skilled at empathy than others, but that doesn't take away from the fact that like at the end of the day, how your empathies lie, where you apply it, it's all based around what you think is good, how you balance certain things. And I feel as if now more than ever, people's scales skew towards selfishness because of certain rhetoric that is screamed from the rooftops online from like TikTok and Instagram, and the very toxic femininity circle of the world, the sprinkles of the world, if you will. And that's not to say that like that harsh advice, that extreme advice doesn't help people, because it does. And for some people, that advice is advice that they need to hear because that's the type of person they are. But the issue is that it's so strong, it's so on the it's like so extreme on the side of what most women specifically need to hear, that they will full send into it, when most people actually lie far away from that type of like trust your intuition, you are a high value woman type shit. And like it just like, no, you're from Ohio, you're from a small town in California. Like you are whoever you are. And if you amount to something big, great. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you. And it's not a bad thing to want more for yourself, but it is a bad thing to kind of ends justify the means it, to Machiavelli it, because it's just not okay. I could get political, but I won't. I could get political, but I won't. But the crux of this little ramble, if you will, is the very fact that I I just like where I was going with that, like where I was coming from this little rant about like the like whatever. Anyway, where I was going with that is that the grass is always greener on the other side. You think it's easier for them, but you're only saying that because you're not in their mind, you're not in their circle, you weren't there when they were in the process of getting that thing that you also want. So you are just assuming that it's easier than whatever you went through because your emotions are so strong. And that's okay for your emotions to be strong. It's just like, don't let that cloud your judgment, because you may think that this is like cathartic for you to complain and it's helping you in the moment. But it's like pulling your hair out as a stress response. You are pulling that out for like that quick release of like the stress, you know what I mean? To like cover it up. But at the end of the day, you're leaving yourself with bald spots. You are overcorrecting, and all because you are forgetting that the grass will always be greener on the other side. And if somebody is trying to sell it to you, be it an influencer or that one friend or like not colleague. I almost said colleague. That one friend, or I was going to say apprentice. Me when I'm stupid. One friend, or I'm just going to stick with associate because I can't think of the word I meant to say because I'm stupid. Acquaintance. I got it. That one friend or acquaintance who thinks that they're better than everybody else or doesn't care about other people's actual like issues or just like certain people's issues, they will say that it doesn't like oh my god, I was so busy trying to figure out the word acquaintance that I completely forgot what I was talking about, but it's okay. I'll think about it because like literally this is like the issue with like a podcast, that like it's purely like the flow. You're just going with the flow, and then when your brain is as jumbled as mine, like you just lose the flow. You're flowing and you think you're flowing, and then you open your eyes and then you're suddenly on a different flow. Anywho, anyway, so like Yeah, like you'll if an influencer is trying to sell you that, or a righteous person is trying to sell you that that's not true. You can over Cuz my grass is the greenest grass. I don't believe that grass is always greener. Because sorry, envy is a human emotion and feeling that everybody feels. Everybody feels. Even like, again, not a psychologist, not a sociologist, what, no, it's like, yeah, psychologist, not a psychologist, but like when you're hearing stories about people with personality disorders and like whatever, they don't like basic feelings that we feel, that the normal person feels, they struggle with them. But for some reason, one of the ones that are easy, the ones that are easy, anger, envy, pain, not pain, anger, envy, and greed, because they're easy to feel, because it's easy to let yourself succumb to them, they handle with ease and grace. Like they, sorry, I thought someone was, okay. I thought someone was coming by my door. Anyway, they're easy to come by. And anybody who's trying to sell you that they've never, that it isn't, and it isn't like, not gluttony, it's not pride, I just like, I've overcome this need for jealousy, they're lying to you. They're lying to you and they're not being realistic. And th- the issue with that is because the people who are selling you that are trying, their their success of selling you that is through this veil of authenticity that social media has created. Like, the idea of a what's in my life and a TikTok feels so personal because you're like, because phones are so personal. You are essentially tricked into like believing this authenticity, even though logically like they're pressing record, they're pressing they're pressing stop, they're making a caption, and then they're adding tags. You know what I mean? Like, you know that, but at the same time you feel as if it's more authentic than a TV show or movie because that takes a whole lot more steps. But at the same time, production big or small, it's a production nonetheless. And it's just telling you something different. The grass is always greener, but that doesn't mean that you have to pretend that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I know that part didn't make sense, but I'm going to leave it in because whatever. You know what I mean? Like, okay, whatever. Oh, Sam didn't make sense again. So that was like a long thing for me just to say that like I'm going to be, more forthcoming to meet people, which is like crazy. And I don't know if it's just like my brain doing it over again, like this whole like making a stride forward, but then subconsciously making a stride back, the way that I would always make excuses to not see somebody is like I'm making an effort to start actually seeing people, but then I'm also backing away from the apps and I'm not on them as much as I used to be anymore. Like, I'm never on them. So, like, maybe that's what's happening there. But also at the same time, everybody knows. Come on, say it with me. Guys, guys, you were supposed to say it with me, but your cue was to say that your cue was to say that Hinge and Tinder are evil. So you know what they say. Hinge and Tinder are evil. Thank you. So, yeah, I got off of Bumble like a month ago because I remembered that Bumble is literally the worst of the apps. Absolutely the worst. Of the big three, I I've been on 2 Tinder, 2 Hinge, 0 Bumble, because men on Bumble are evil. I feel like everybody says that about all the apps. Oh, men on Hinge are evil, men on Tinder are evil. I think it's just like the algorithm just gives you the most evil men, and anybody who has met somebody long term from those apps, the algorithm didn't work but worked for them. Because I genuinely don't think that the algorithm was actually meant to help you find the one, because if the algorithm was meant to help you find the one or someone with the same goals as you, no one would have the app. No one would have the app. Because I feel as if like what they get, like what most of their revenue is from, are from people who are desperate to find the right one after many have failed, or the ones who have come back and continuously come back. I think that's where they get the money from. That, and the people who actually pay for the premium services, which is, a whole different horse that, I'm not going to touch, because I don't really. If I had stupid money, I would be on Raya, so I can't really speak. If I had stupid money, and not stupid money, if I got into Raya, I would pay that $25 every month. I'm being so dead ass. Like, I would pay that $25 every month just so I could say I've been on the big 4 instead of just the big 3. Okay, like just to say that, I would be on that. I would be on Raya, but they didn't let me in. They didn't let me in, so I don't know. But yeah, evil, I guess. Dating apps are evil, so I'm not gonna be too harsh on myself. See how I'm applying myself? I'm not gonna be too harsh on myself about this being another excuse that I'm not on the apps as much anymore, because that just means that every single time something happens, despite the fact I'm not on the apps as much anymore, it means that I still have to do the thing. I still have to go and do it. So, yay. Anyway, so that was like that part of that segment. The next segment of this episode is going to be, quite frankly, my love for my iPad. I got back in. Sorry, I was too close to the mic. I heard that. I'm gonna get back in. I got back in to Where's My Water. I love Where's My Water because I can use my Apple Pencil. I can use my Apple Pencil to draw the pipe thingies, the holes for the water or the gas or the poison, depending on the gator, crocodile, depending on the thing that, depending on if it's Allie. What are their names? I don't know their names, and I don't think they're gonna tell me their names. But like, depending on which gator or crocodile you get, you either need to get the me when I'm 5. Well, technically, you have, like, depending on the gator or alligator that you get, you have to give them the different things, and it has to be either water, gas, or poison. Like, I love my iPad so much, but I think I might be an iPad kid. Also, I have been playing a lot of Roblox games, and also I just checked because my notifications are also on my iPad. He has yet to contact me. I said contact because I'm ashamed to say snap. Guys, don't like talk to men on Snap. Like, if they only talk to you on Snap, they are a red flag. They are a red flag. Do not talk to. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just because I do it does not. Monkey say, do not monkey do. Monkey do, monkey do. No. Monkey do not do. Monkey say, monkey do. No. Monkey say, monkey do when I say don't talk to guys on Snap. Don't talk to guys who only talk to you on Snap. But also at the same time, monkey do not do. Just because I do it does not mean that you should do it. I'm trying to stop it. you should not start it in the beginning, in the first place. So, just saying. But at the same time, like, if it's on Instagram, it genuinely is 50-50. Like, if they're only talking to you on Instagram, it will go one of two ways. It will. It just genuinely does. Like, you can't measure that one. Instagram is the wild, wild west. When it comes to, like, talking to guys off of apps, Snapchat should be a no-go. Unless, like, you know what I mean when I'm saying this, but, like, unless it matches what you want, don't go on Snap. Instagram is the wild, wild west. Anything could happen. The number, I would say it's a wild, wild west, but I think it's just because I'm not nice on phone number, because I get so paranoid, because I'm like, that's my phone number, that's my phone number, that's my phone number, that, like, things tend to not work out as well. So, so, but I think that's usually a good thing. I think number usually ends better, but not my preference, some might say. So, ding. That's my advice on that, even though this was literally part of my iPad segment, but whatever. So, guys, I love my iPad so much. I'm opening her up right the frick now. And that should be up there. Okay. I love my iPad so much, and I was thinking about maybe I need a bigger iPad. Maybe I shouldn't have the mini. And then I literally remembered the reason why I got the mini was just so I could put it in my purse. So if I need to read on the go on the subway, I can read on the go on the subway. Like, why am I trying to rewrite the script? This is the script that I set for myself. So I'm keeping the iPad mini because I like it, and also because I just bought a new Apple Pencil because the old one broke, and if I get a new iPad now, I'm gonna have to get a new Apple Pencil as well to get because if I'm gonna get a new one, I might as well get the Pro. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Oh my god. Anyway, guys, like, life is a highway. Like, like, so much is going through my head right now. My little cousin is here, but hanging out with my brother, so I'm in the clear right now. I am, what some might say, out of the woods. But I don't know, like, gosh, guys, like, I know I just spent, like, the first 30-ish minutes of the pod talking about how, like, the grass is always greener on the other side, but, like, why can't a boyfriend fall into my lap like the people on TikTok? Why do I, of all people, have to relate to Tyler Jacobs? Love her down. Love Tyler Jacobs down. Love him. But, like, even he doesn't want to be living his life like that. Like, even he is over it. I'm over it. Obviously, my experience is not as as his, but it's still hitting me bad. So send help, SOS, I guess. I just don't know anymore, guys. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get what I'm doing wrong. I actually do know what I'm getting wrong, but that doesn't change the fact that it blows. Like, I get what I'm doing wrong, but also just, like, it's not like I mean to. It's not like I mean to get it wrong. It just keeps happening, and I know that means I have to work harder to make it stop. But it's so hard to work harder to make it stop. It's hard. It's difficult, and you know that. I love life, guys. I love it. I really do. Earlier today, I started getting really nervous about investing. I was, like, thinking about it, and it's just like, Should I be investing right now? Long story short, I watched a bunch of TikToks and YouTube videos about investing, and then I talked to my friend who is the GOAT and a numbers person, and the GOAT numbers person, bank stuff. And yeah, she was talking to me, blah, 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 blah. So I've decided that I'm gonna slowly start taking steps to do stuff like that, just so like I have like I can start with retirement money. Because everybody on TikTok's like, I started at 23, I started at 25, I started at 22, but I wish I started at 18. You were 18. Of course you wish you started doing things like that when you were 18. But you were 18. It's okay for you to have not started doing crazy shit like that, because not every person when they're 18 can start doing shit like that. Hello. Don't expect 18-year-old you to have 30-year-old you perspective. Don't expect 18, 17-year-old you to have 22-year-old you perspective. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't worry about the past. Worry about your future. Worry about your present. Again, more advice that I should take myself. Just saying. Anyway, I think that's it for this episode, because the next I'm going to record the next episode genuinely right after this, so I can quickly edit this one, edit that one, get it out there. So this is the end of the episode. That means the announcement. Wait, let me drum. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I'm going to pretend you guys did. I am starting another podcast. What, Sam? What the fuck do you mean you're starting another podcast? You can't even keep up with this one. This one is different. This one is different and meant to be inconsistent. This one is different and it's supposed to supplement the, like, as a third podcast each month. So it might be more, it might be less, but this second podcast is specific. Sorry. Anywho, okay. So this new podcast is called Wait, Hey, I Know You, and it's strictly a collab podcast. This podcast specifically is for having guests on, because every single time I make like a joke or mention that I have a podcast with some friends, every friend that I have, not every friend, but like a lot of them are like, and I'm not a guest? Wait, that's so, I wish I had a podcast, but I can't talk to myself. This one is specifically for the people who don't want to have their own podcast that I'm friends with, to have one, because I feel no shame. I will have that podcast for us. This is for us. So it's called Wait, Hey, I Know You, and every episode will start with me just talking to myself, and then I'll turn over to my guest and go, wait, hey, I know you. And then we talk. And then what the topic of that episode will purely be what they want to talk about. This is strictly just for me to have guests on the podcast and not have to worry about continuity, because this specific podcast is just me rambling and talking, and like literally whatever I want to talk about. And I have had guests on this podcast before, but the issue is that you have to plan that stuff, and then it kind of like gets in the way of like the whole point of this podcast for me, where it's just like for me to ramble, and like people can like tune in, tune out, speed it up, not listen to it at all. Essentially saving my friends' ears if they don't want this anymore. So like this podcast is for my ramble. So the other podcast, which I already made I already made the channel for, I just have to record the first podcast episode for it. The other podcast is going to be a little bit more structured, because it's going to have another person or multiple other people with me on the podcast, but it's just gonna be a little bit more structured. Production wise, gonna be the same. We're gonna be talking into my MacBook and talking on my USB microphone. Maybe just this one. Maybe I'll try to figure out how to connect both this microphone and my old microphone as one microphone so we can both talk into them and hold our own microphones. But a lot of my friends do love to hear themselves talk, so I might just like put it on the omnidirectional side and just like we share the ears. I think that's what's probably gonna happen, but I don't know. We'll see how we go about that. So that is announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is that I am buying a vlog camera. I don't know when. It's either going to be this week or next week, but I am getting a vlogging camera and I'm going to start vlogging because I do want to go back into doing exciting things. And if I buy a expensive to me, not expensive at all in the grand scheme of things, like camera wise, because cameras are very expensive equipment, but like it's going to be expensive to me because I'm broke. If I light another fire under my ass of an expensive vlogging camera, I'm just going to make myself do more things, thus making me more content for all 4, including my TikTok, all 4 parts of my influencer journey. Because, yeah. So, yeah, vlogging channel. I already have a channel that, like a personal channel that I just like scrubbed every video off of because, God, like I may not feel shame because shame is a very present feeling, but I do feel embarrassment over my past actions because embarrassment is kind of like retrospective to me, even if it's in the moment. Like I can feel embarrassment in the moment, but shame, no, because they're 2 different things, which I could get into, but I'm not going to. But yes, vlogging is coming back technically, but coming for you guys. Vlogging is coming. New podcast is coming. This episode and then the other episode is coming. So thank you so much for watching. This is Samantha Kaye. And who gave me a mic?